The hangar was quiet, but the silence felt heavy. Smoke drifted across the floor in soft gray waves, and sparks from damaged ships flickered along the walls. The battle outside had ended hours ago, but the aftermath still smelled of burnt metal and energy plasma. Alien soldiers, tall and strong, walked carefully, checking their armor and weapons. Some limped, some carried pieces of broken equipment. Commander Kaera strode into the hangar, her boots heavy on the metal floor. Her armor was cracked, one shoulder plate missing, and deep black scorch marks ran across her chest and legs. She had been in many battles before, but nothing had made her this angry. She almost did not make it back alive, and she knew it was not because she had failed. Something else had gone wrong. Who is responsible for this? Kaera shouted. Her voice echoed off the walls. She slammed her fist into a bulkhead, leaving a dent in the metal. Sparks flew from the impact. Every soldier in the hangar froze. No one dared to answer. The anger in her voice made them step back. The admiral, a large alien with gray scales along his face, approached slowly. He raised his clawed hand in a calming gesture. Commander, please. We will find the cause. It is under investigation. Kaera's eyes burned with fury. Investigation? I almost died. My squad almost died, and you call it investigation? She turned sharply to face the officers near the entrance. I want the human engineer. Now. A murmur went through the hangar. Humans had joined their fleet only recently, allowed as support staff by the Council after long debates. Many aliens did not trust them. Thinking humans were weak and fragile, they whispered among themselves, calling the humans soft, not made for war. A human stepped forward. Ethan Clark, young but calm, moved with quiet confidence. His uniform was simple, his toolkit hanging from his belt. His hair was slightly messy, and his eyes were tired but focused. He did not flinch when Kaera's gaze landed on him. Human engineer, Kaera said, her voice sharp. You are responsible for the armor systems. Explain why my armor failed. Ethan did not respond with anger or excuses. He looked at the damaged armor, then at Kaera, and said simply, I want to inspect it and see what happened. May I? Kaera narrowed her eyes. You dare speak calmly to me after this? She stepped closer, her boots clanging on the metal floor. My armor almost left me defenseless. My squad almost died. Humans should not touch war gear. You are soft. You are weak. You are nothing compared to a warrior of my kind. Ethan nodded. I understand your anger. I also want to make sure this does not happen again. He crouched next to the armor and began examining the cracks and scorches. He ran his fingers over the metal, checking energy conduits and joint systems. Other alien officers whispered among themselves. Lirak, a young technician, muttered, Look at him. He is tiny. He will never fix anything. He should not even touch the armor. Armor fix anything. Kaera heard the comment and growled. Do not speak against him. He will either fix it, or I will see that humans are removed from this hangar forever. Ethan did not seem afraid. He checked the panels, pulled up battle logs, and ran diagnostics. The scanners beeped softly, reading energy flows and software logs. This damage is unusual, he said. It does not match normal failure patterns. There may be a hidden flaw. Kaera's eyes widened slightly. She crossed her arms and watched him work. She expected excuses, weakness, or hesitation. Ethan showed none. He was focused only on the problem, not the anger around him. What are you talking about? She asked sharply. Flaw? This armor is the finest in the fleet. It cannot fail like this. Ethan shook his head. It failed under very specific conditions. The battle you just fought matches those conditions exactly. I think it was not simple neglect or wear. The system protected itself, but it left you exposed. Kaera's jaw tightened. She wanted to shout, to tear at the armor herself, to punish the one who caused this. But something in Ethan's calm manner made her pause. He was not afraid. Not trying to impress anyone. Not begging for approval. He simply worked. The Admiral stepped closer. "Can you fix it before the next mission?" he asked. Ethan looked up. "I need time. 1 day at minimum. I will have to update the system and test it." Kiera's anger boiled. 1 day? 1 day? And I risk going back into battle with this armor? You may be human, but you will either succeed, or I will personally see you removed from this fleet. Ethan nodded again. "I understand. I will need your cooperation. I cannot test everything without your input." Kiera gritted her teeth but saw the truth in his words. She was furious, but she knew he might be their only chance. She gave a small nod. "Fine. You have 1 day. Prove your worth. Human, or I will make sure no human ever touches armor again." Ethan smiled faintly, not in arrogance, but in determination. "Thank you, Commander. I will do my best." Over the next hours, Ethan set up a quiet repair bay in a corner of the hangar. He unpacked tools, spread out portable scanners, and connected the armor to his devices. He moved methodically, checking each energy conduit, joint servo, and control panel. Lirak watched. Still doubtful. "He is slow," Lirak whispered. "We could have replaced all the modules in half this time." Kiera arrived periodically, pacing near the work area. She watched him attach sensors, check logs, and run simulations. She expected excuses, but Ethan spoke only of observations. He pointed out that some energy flows were rerouted incorrectly, and that certain software patches had never been updated in decades. "Decades?" Kiera asked. "This fleet has gone through hundreds of battles. How has no one noticed this before?" Ethan shrugged. "The patch was designed to save energy. It worked most of the time. Only in rare combinations of attacks does it fail. You were just unlucky." Kiera wanted to shout at him for calling her unlucky, but she forced herself to remain silent. She could see that he was right. He was not trying to offend her. He was trying to fix the problem. By evening, Ethan had mapped all the energy flaws and calculated new routing patterns. He suggested software changes and minor hardware adjustments that could prevent failure. Kiera examined his plans, skeptical but noticing the careful logic. "If this works," she said slowly, "then you may have saved more than just my armor. You may have saved lives." Ethan nodded. "That is my hope. But we will not know until we test it in real conditions." Kiera looked at him for a long moment. She had entered the hangar full of fury, ready to blame, to punish, and to fight. Now, she saw a small human, calm, focused, and brave in his own way. He was not a warrior like her, but he had strength she had not expected. The hangar lights dimmed as the day ended. Soldiers left for quarters, and the damaged ships were towed for repair. Kiera remained near the armor, silently watching Ethan work. She did not speak, but her thoughts churned. She had never admitted it, but maybe humans were capable of more than her people believed. Ethan continued to work late into the night, checking each detail, adjusting code, and testing the circuits. He did not complain about the long hours, the anger in the air, or the skeptical eyes around him. He simply focused on the armor. As the first stars appeared in the sky outside the hangar, Kiera finally stepped back. She crossed her arms and said quietly, "You have until sunrise. If this fails, humans will be removed from armor duty. Forever." Ethan looked up, his eyes tired but determined. "I understand. I will not fail." Kiera nodded, not because she trusted him fully, but because she had seen enough to know that he was not like the others. He was small, human, and soft in appearance, but inside, he had courage and intelligence. He would try, no matter the risk, and for the first time that day, Kara felt a spark of curiosity instead of fury. She wondered what else this human could do, and if he could change the way her fleet saw humans forever. The night passed quietly. Ethan worked, checked, adjusted, and tested. Kara remained near the bay, occasionally giving him input, occasionally watching in silence. Neither of them slept. The hangar was empty, except for the two who shared a strange bond. One, fueled by fury. One by quiet determination. As dawn approached, Ethan looked at the armor and smiled faintly. He had finished the updates, checked all circuits, and simulated the worst conditions. The armor was now ready. If the real battle matched the test, Kara would be protected, and the flaw that almost killed her squad would be gone. Kara stepped forward, her expression unreadable. She placed a clawed hand on the shoulder plate. The metal was smooth, repaired, and reinforced with new patterns. She flexed her arm, testing movement. "We will see if you have done well," she said softly. Ethan nodded. "We will see." The sun rose over the hangar, casting long shadows across the metal floor. Outside, the fleet was preparing for the next mission. Inside, a human and an alien warrior stood side by side, ready to face the unknown, each learning from the other in ways they did not yet understand. Part 1 ends here, with fury replaced by cautious respect, and the first step of a partnership that could change the course of battles and the perception of humans in the alien fleet. The next morning, the hangar was busy with activity. Alien soldiers checked weapons, repaired ships, and ran drills. Commander Kara stood near the repaired armor, watching Ethan work. The sun reflected off the metal floor, glinting on the cracks that had been carefully sealed and strengthened. She was still cautious. She had seen the human work, but she did not yet trust fully that it would hold under battle conditions. "Ethan," Kara said, her voice low but firm, "we leave for the training field soon. I want a full demonstration of the armor before the squad moves out." Ethan nodded. He packed his tools, checked the energy readings, and attached a small, portable console to the armor. "The armor is ready. We can run simulations before taking it into live combat." Kara raised an eyebrow. "Simulations are not battle. We do not have time for slow tests. If it fails there, it fails here. You understand?" "I understand," Ethan replied calmly. "But even a brief simulation can show whether the fix will hold under stress. We should do it." Kara sighed but did not argue. She was furious that humans needed time to test. But she also knew that brute force alone would not repair the damage that had almost killed her. She motioned to the squad, and they moved toward the training field. Ethan followed, carrying his console and a small set of tools. The field was wide and open, designed for armored exercises. Energy barriers flashed in the distance as targets were set up for practice attacks. Alien soldiers in full armor ran drills, firing plasma weapons and dodging simulated explosions. Kara stepped forward, commanding her unit to line up. She tested her repaired armor, moving her arms and legs, feeling the weight and balance. The armor felt solid. The cracks were gone. The scorches healed. The energy systems hummed smoothly. "Ready?" Ethan asked quietly. He connected his console to the armor systems and ran a short diagnostic. The armor lights flickered briefly, then stabilized. Kara nodded. "Do not fail me, human." The drill began. Kara led her squad through a series of attacks and maneuvers. Enemy simulations used mixed energy attacks, similar to the battle that had almost destroyed her armor. Shields flashed, armor plates absorbed blasts, and sensors tracked the movements of enemy drones. Kara noticed immediately that the armor responded differently than before. Energy flowed smoothly, and joint servos adjusted automatically to distribute force. She moved faster, dodged more precisely, and did not feel the weakness she had experienced in the last battle. "The armor is stable," Ethan said, watching his console. "The power routing is consistent. The patch is fully corrected. It should hold under real combat." Ethan, why? Keira frowned slightly. It feels different. Better. But if it fails now, I will know that human engineering cannot be trusted. The drill continued. With enemy drones increasing the intensity, Keira's squad moved as one. But some soldiers were nervous about the changes to their armor. One young warrior, Mara, whispered to a teammate, I do not trust these human fixes. What if it fails like before? Ethan overheard but did not respond angrily. He knelt beside Mara and showed her the console. Look here. Every energy conduit has been tested. Every software path checked. The armor will protect you. Trust the system, but also trust yourself. Fear is normal, but we can manage it together. Mara nodded slowly. She still feared, but Ethan's calm words gave her a small sense of confidence. Keira noticed this and felt a grudging respect for the human. He was not a warrior, but he had a way of inspiring courage. After several hours, the drill ended. Keira's armor and the squad had performed perfectly. The energy readings remained stable, and every soldier returned without serious injuries. Keira studied Ethan as he packed his console. You may have done well, she said quietly. Thank you, Commander, Ethan replied simply. He did not celebrate. He knew the real test would come in live combat. Later, in the hangar, Keira and Ethan reviewed the battle logs from the drill. Ethan pointed out subtle energy patterns and minor adjustments that could improve performance further. Keira listened, still skeptical but noticing that his suggestions made sense. You think like a warrior sometimes, she said, but you are not one. Ethan shrugged. I think like someone who has seen danger and wants to survive. That may be similar. Keira did not respond. She was used to strength being measured in combat, not thought. Yet she could not deny that he had improved her armor in ways she had not imagined. That evening, the news came that an enemy fleet had been detected near a nearby colony. It was larger than expected. With advanced ships capable of mixed attacks, the fleet would need every capable squad, including Keira's, to respond quickly. The Admiral called a meeting to discuss strategy. We will need every ship ready, the Admiral said. Our intel suggests they may use tactics similar to those that nearly destroyed Keira's unit last cycle. Humans will be assisting in armor and systems support. Keira's eyes narrowed. She looked at Ethan, who remained calm. She could sense the tension in the room, the distrust of other aliens, and the whispers of doubt. We will see if your fixes hold in real battle, she said quietly. Ethan nodded. I am ready. I will monitor the armor in real time and make adjustments as needed. Preparation for battle was intense. Soldiers ran drills, ships were refueled, and armor systems were double-checked. Ethan moved from unit to unit, running diagnostics, giving simple instructions, and correcting minor issues. Some soldiers mocked him quietly, calling humans fragile and soft. He ignored them. He focused on the work. Keira watched him move through the hangar with quiet efficiency. He was not fast or strong like a soldier, but he handled complex systems calmly and methodically. She could see that he had the respect of the soldiers he helped, not through fear, but through competence. He may survive this, she thought. And maybe he will make us stronger. 6. Time, the night before departure. Ethan and Keira reviewed the armor one last time. The energy flows were steady, power routing stable, and software updated. Ethan connected his console and ran final tests. The armor is fully updated, he said. It will respond correctly in battle conditions. The only unknown is human unpredictability in combat. Keira frowned. We are not here to test humans. We are here to fight. Do not fail me. I will not, Ethan said, meeting her gaze. He had no armor, no weapons, only his mind and his tools. Yet he seemed ready to face any challenge. The next morning, Keira's squad moved to the fleet ships. Ethan remained on the support vessel, monitoring systems. Keira's armor felt light, yet strong, responding instantly to her movements. She led her soldiers onto the ship, feeling a mix of caution and curiosity. She had always trusted strength in combat, but this time, her trust was in a human engineer. As the ships left the station, Kiera studied the stars. The enemy fleet was out there, moving fast, ready to strike. She tested her armor with a series of maneuvers in the ship's simulator and felt the stability she had not known before. Ethan's updates had made a difference, but she would not know the full value until the battle began. The journey to the colony was tense. Communication channels buzzed with updates, and scouts reported enemy movements. Ethan's voice came through the comms calmly, reporting that armor systems across the squad were stable, energy flows were normal, and no abnormal conditions were detected. Kiera's squad prepared mentally. Soldiers adjusted armor, checked weapons, and shared quiet words of encouragement. Some still doubted the human fixes, but the overall mood was less fearful than before. Ethan's presence and careful work had instilled a measure of calm in the squad. As the enemy fleet appeared on the scanners, Kiera's eyes narrowed. Their numbers were larger than expected, and energy signatures suggested mixed attack capabilities. She felt a rush of anger and anticipation. This would be the real test of Ethan's work and of her squad's skill. "Prepare for combat," she ordered, "and human, keep us alive." She did not smile, but her tone carried a grudging respect. Ethan acknowledged quietly, adjusting power settings remotely and monitoring the armor systems. The first clash was intense. Enemy drones fired plasma beams, and missiles streaked across space. Kiera's armor absorbed the impacts, joints flexing automatically as Ethan's updates controlled power distribution. She moved faster than she had in previous battles, dodging attacks and directing her squad efficiently. "Armor stable," Ethan reported over comms. "Power routing correct. No failures detected." Kiera's teeth clenched. She did not need the words. She could feel the difference in the armor. Her movements were precise, her defenses strong. She had survived battles before, but this time, she had a human mind supporting her through the systems, and it made a difference she could not ignore. The battle continued, with enemy ships attempting different tactics. Kiera's squad responded quickly, adjusting positions and executing maneuvers with confidence. Some soldiers whispered about how the armor felt different, more responsive. Even the young Mara nodded as she moved, her fear replaced by focus. By the end of the first engagement, Kiera's squad had held their positions, and enemy forces had retreated slightly. The armor had not failed once. Ethan's updates had proven themselves in the first real test. Kiera exhaled slowly. She looked at Ethan on the comms. "You have done well, human," she said quietly. "Do not let it go to your head." "Thank you, Commander," Ethan replied calmly. "But the battle is not over. We must remain vigilant." Kiera nodded. She understood. This was only the beginning. The human had earned her respect, but she still needed to see more. Yet for the first time, she saw that humans could be more than support staff. They could be partners in battle, capable of thinking, solving, and surviving alongside alien warriors. The squad regrouped, preparing for the next wave. Kiera's mind was focused, but she could not stop thinking about Ethan. He was small, soft, and human, yet he had done what her strongest warriors could not. He had fixed what was broken and kept them alive. Part 2 ends here, with the first real test of the human fixes in combat, Kiera beginning to respect Ethan, and the squad starting to trust the updated armor. The story moves toward higher stakes, more battles, and deeper bonds between warrior and engineer. The enemy fleet had not fully retreated. Scouts reported regrouping ships approaching the colony. Kiera's squad had survived the first wave, but the real challenge was still ahead. The battle would not be simple this time. The enemy had learned from their first engagement and now used more advanced tactics. "Prepare for the next assault," Kiera ordered. Her voice was calm but firm. She could feel the difference in her armor. The updates Ethan had made worked perfectly in the last engagement. But she knew that real battle was unpredictable. Every movement, every decision, could mean life or death. Ethan monitored the armor systems from the support ship. He adjusted power flows and checked sensor readings, sending updates to the squad in real time. Energy distribution is stable, he reported over comms. All armor systems are operational. We are ready for new threats. Kiera glanced at the younger soldiers in her squad. Some still had doubts about the human updates, but they had seen the armor hold in battle. She knew trust could take time. She moved among them, giving short, clear instructions. Follow my lead. Stay close. And trust the armor. The enemy struck quickly. Small fighter drones darted from larger ships, firing plasma streams at Kiera's squad. Missiles streaked past, targeting shields and armor joints. The new systems activated instantly, rerouting energy to reinforce weak points. Kiera moved fluidly, dodging attacks and directing her squad to take cover when necessary. Armor is holding, Ethan said. No system failures detected. Kiera's eyes narrowed. She could feel the difference in her movements. Her armor was lighter, stronger, and responsive in ways she had never experienced before. It almost felt like an extension of her body. She realized that Ethan's work had not just fixed the cracks, it had improved her performance in battle. The enemy escalated the attack. An elite squad of boarding drones broke through shields and attempted to reach the ship's hull. Kiera's squad moved to intercept them. She led the charge, her repaired armor absorbing blows that would have incapacitated her before. She struck the first drone with a heavy gauntlet, sending it spinning into a wall. Her squad followed, engaging the remaining drones with coordinated attacks. Ethan spoke calmly over comms. I can see the drones' power sources. I can override their energy conduits remotely. To be ready for sudden shutdowns. Kiera's eyes flicked to the display on her armor. She had never needed a human mind in the middle of combat before. The thought was strange, but she trusted Ethan now. She moved her hand in a specific pattern, and a signal from Ethan disabled the remaining drone's circuits, causing them to collapse harmlessly. Good work, human, Kiera muttered, almost to herself. She did not usually praise anyone, and she did not intend to do so aloud, but she felt it was necessary. Ethan had kept her squad alive. He had made a difference. The battle was far from over. Enemy ships began firing mixed energy attacks designed to overload armor systems. Kiera's squad had to maneuver quickly to avoid damage while maintaining their offensive positions. She felt the strain of command, but the armor held. Every joint, every servo, every shield response worked perfectly. She realized that the updates had turned the armor into a weapon as well as protection. Ethan's voice came again, calm and measured. I am monitoring all units. Energy routing is stable. Shields will remain up under this attack. Focus on tactics, not fear. Kiera glanced at him on the comms feed. The small human was steady, composed, and unafraid. Even while ships exploded and lasers cut through space, she felt a mix of respect and unease. She was used to relying on her strength and skill, but now she had to trust a human engineer as much as her instincts. The enemy changed tactics again. They deployed a set of sabotage drones, aimed directly at the ship's central systems. Kiera realized immediately that these drones were targeting armor controls, the same system Ethan had updated. She knew that if the drones succeeded, the armor could fail instantly. Human, she said sharply. They are trying to sabotage the armor. I see them, Ethan replied calmly. I can override the systems, but I need you to hold them off while I access the nodes. Kiera clenched her fists. She moved forward with her squad, striking down drones and engaging enemy soldiers who had boarded the ship. The armor responded perfectly. Power flowed to her gauntlets, shields activated automatically, and joint servos adjusted to each blow. She felt invincible in a way she had never known before. Ethan moved alongside her in the corridors, carrying a portable console. He crouched beside power nodes, tapping and adjusting the armor's network. Sparks flew as enemy devices tried to overload the system, but Ethan's updates countered every attack. He moved quickly, calmly, and with purpose. Kaira blocked a blast aimed at him, her armor absorbing the energy instantly. She realized that he was right. Fear was normal, but skill, preparation, and calm thinking could turn fear into advantage. She nodded slightly at him, acknowledging his courage without words. Together, they reached the central control room where a large enemy device tried to override the armor systems across the fleet. Ethan connected his console to the device, analyzing its signals. "They are exploiting the old flaw," he said, "but it has been fixed in your armor. The device will fail if we act correctly." Kaira positioned herself at the door, ready to defend them. She struck any intruders that came close. Her movements precise and strong. She had never trusted a human like this before, but she now relied on Ethan's mind as much as her strength. Ethan worked quickly, rerouting energy flows and sending updates to all armor systems in real time. The enemy device began to malfunction, sparks flying and circuits burning. Kaira's squad fought back against boarding forces, and slowly, the enemy lost control of their own weapons. "It is done," Ethan said. "The system is stable, and the device is neutralized." Kaira exhaled, lowering her arms. She looked at the small human beside her, panting slightly from exertion, but completely composed in his focus. She felt a deep respect for him. He had faced danger without armor, without weapons, and had succeeded where many warriors would have failed. The enemy retreated, their fleet broken and disorganized. Kaira's squad regrouped, checking each soldier for injuries. Everyone was alive. Armor systems were fully functional. The updates had worked perfectly. Kaira looked at Ethan. "You have proven yourself human. You are not weak. You are capable." Ethan shook his head slightly. "I am only doing my part. The armor works because it is a tool. You are the warrior who uses it." Kaira smiled faintly, a rare expression. She had not smiled in years during battle. But this was different. She had seen the value of intelligence, courage, and calm thinking in action. Humans were not just soft or fragile, they could make a difference, and she had witnessed it firsthand. Later, back on the support ship, Ethan reviewed the battle logs and adjusted minor details in the armor network. Kaira observed him, still cautious but now curious. She realized that this small human had changed her understanding of strength. It was not only about muscle and instinct. It was also about knowledge, calmness, and the will to act under pressure. The squad celebrated quietly. There were no loud cheers. Aliens were not given to public displays, but the energy in the air was different. Soldiers moved with confidence, not fear. They had survived a battle that would have broken them before, and they owed much of it to the human engineer. Kaira approached Ethan. "You will need to continue your work," she said. "The next battle will be harder. They will learn from this. And we cannot rely only on luck or reaction." "I understand," Ethan replied. "We will continue to improve. Every battle teaches us something new." Kaira nodded. She thought about the younger soldiers, about the future of the fleet, and about humans in general. She realized that prejudice and doubt had no place in survival. Skill, courage, and intelligence mattered more than species or size. "Humans are not just support staff," she said quietly to herself. "They can fight alongside us, in their own way." Ethan finished his updates, packed his tools, and prepared for the next mission. Kaira studied him. Still wary but respectful, she had entered this battle furious, expecting failure, but now she saw the truth. Humans could be strong in ways she had never imagined, and she had learned to rely on them. The fleet moved on to the colony, ready for the next phase of battle. Kaira and Ethan, warrior and engineer, now worked together as equals in purpose, if not in tradition. Their partnership had survived the first real test. But the war was far from over. New threats, new strategies, and greater dangers awaited them. Part 3 ends here, with Ethan's work proving itself in real combat, Kayera beginning to fully trust him, and the fleet aware that humans were no longer just helpers, they were essential partners in battle.